What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. We got a little breaking news live stream today. First of all, let me change the color of the chat because it's white. Got to make it black so you guys could see it. But Jameson Taillon is a New York Yankee. Breaking news. Let's go. I know Ryan must be ecstatic right now. Let me see actually who the official deal is for, because I know Yahuri is the main deal, main piece in the deal going back to Pittsburgh. There we go. Miguel Yahuri, Roansy Contreras, Michael Escoto, and Cannon Smith. Listen, like hot takes for right off the bat here. I think that this is an awesome deal for the New York Yankees. Jameson Taillon's a New York Yankee. I know a lot of people have been clamoring for him, and he's a Yankee now. And I think that they gave up a lot less than I expected to. I thought it was going to be typical to like a Musgrove kind of deal, I guess. And to be honest, this is less than I expected. Miguel Yahuri, he's a guy with high upside, but I didn't really see a future with him in the organization. Same thing for Contreras, and I never heard of the other two guys. So this is the typical package where it's like two prospects that are like mediocre, and then two prospects you never really heard of, you know? Shout out Todd Harrington for liking the stream. Appreciate you. But damn, the Yankees love hitting us with news, like just random ass times. Like Sunday morning, I'm just trying to chill. And look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Shout out Justin for liking the stream. Appreciate you, my man. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Victor, Andrew, Johnny, Ryan, 420 BMX for life. Solid name. Rocco, appreciate all. CJ too. Shout out to you, bro. How many years of control do we have on him? That's a good question. I know he hasn't pitched in the past 2 years, but let me check that out. He has, he's a free agent in 2023. So that's what, like 2-3 years of control, which is solid, which is an awesome, awesome deal. The only issue that I might have with Taillon, and I think a lot of people might, is just like Kluber, the dude hasn't really pitched in 2 years. Now, obviously, you're going to expect him to come back and maybe have a little bit of rust. But I think moving forward, this is an absolute steal. I don't think the Yankees could have gotten a better pitcher for the amount that they gave up. You know what I mean? Because we heard the rumors about Luis Castillo, and we saw, like, the Reds wanted Gleyber Torres. And the fact that the Yankees got a pitcher who has the potential to be like a Luis Castillo and didn't have to give up half as much, I think it's a solid deal. 2 years arbitration left. Yes, only $2 million. Great steal by Cashman. I agree. But damn, what a day. Who in the chat was in the stream last night? We had quite the stream last night. I'm still recovering from that stream. Still recovering from it. But listen, woke up to great news this morning. I think Passan broke the news, right? And it's funny because we had I don't know who saw the podcast that we did. It came out yesterday, and it was like, what's the Yankees' next move? And I forgot who said it. I think it was Sean who said Jameson Taillon, and I said Taijuan Walker. Anthony said Jock Peterson. Oh, we had a few guys in the chat today that were here last night. Appreciate it. How'd you guys like last night's stream? What's going on? The only downsides of this move: 1, the double Tommy John surgery, and 2, his strikeout numbers aren't as high as you would like considering his stuff. But I think this is a steal. Yeah. I would have to agree with you. Listen, if the Yankees would have given up more, then I would have been more suspicious about it. I take this just like the Corey Kluber deal. Yankees gave him 1 year, $11 million. I consider very low risk there. Like, what's the risk with this trade? Taillon just he's just not that good. Okay, so you lost like 4 prospects, none of which were likely going to have any impact on the organization in their entire career. So, listen, I love Jameson Taillon. I know Ryan Garcia is probably ecstatic right now. I know a few other people in the chat are absolutely ecstatic right now. It's just so great to see the Yankees making actual moves, right? Because this offseason, we've just been waiting around. All we've been hearing was rumors and all this other stuff. But now they finally pulled the trigger on a deal that we were all waiting for. And listen, perhaps a moment of silence for the official end to Tanaka's time in New York. Yes, I think with the acquisition of Taillon, that officially, that officially boots Tanaka out of New York. Now, listen, it's possible he can come back, maybe like a 1 year, like $8 million deal. I don't know if he wants to take a pay cut just to come. I'm sure the Yankees would love him to have him back as depth, but it really depends on the contract he's looking for. It depends on all that stuff. But I could definitely see Tanaka going back to Japan, to be honest. It was Mackey of Pittsburgh Media. Oh, was it? I only get notifications from Jeff Passan, so. Who do we trade away? We traded away, someone put in the chat before. It was Miguel Yajure. Who else? Yajure, Roansy Contreras, I think. And then 2 prospects I've never heard of in my life. So I don't think the Yankees really missed out on much, to be honest. Shout out to everyone liking the stream. Appreciate you guys. Carl Pavano would be a guest instructor at spring training. Bro, Carl Pavano is the last guy I want around these dudes right now. Carl Pavano got hurt, and he just decided that's the end of my MLB career. Like, just done. Wait, but I think he might have came back after his time with the Yankees. Like, I hate to get on, like, a Carl Pavano tangent here, but I think he came back and pitched with the Twins for a couple more years. Yeah. So after his last season with the Yankees was 2008, and then he came back 2009 with the Indians, and then pitched 4 seasons with Minnesota. So I guess it was just the Yankees who he didn't want to play for. I don't know. Jorge had a lot of potential. He did, but I think the upside of Taillon, and I think what he can be capable of, I think it's a lot better than what Miguel Yajure had to provide, Yeah, Yajure, Contreras, Escoto, and Smith. I heard of Cannon Smith. The only one I haven't heard of was Escoto. I don't know. Listen, that's not knocking Escoto, though. Like, shout out to you, Escoto. Like, Pavano pitched all right. He was all right for a minute. He was honestly like the pitching version of Jacoby Ellsbury. But off the Carl Pavano tangent here. Looking at the Yankees rotation now, we're looking at a pretty solid rotation. And I don't know if they're even done adding on to it yet. We're looking at a rotation headlined by Garrett Cole, right? One of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. We know this. Number 2, I assume Kluber's going to be your number 2. You're going to hope that he could give you half of what he was before missing the past 2 seasons. 3, Taillon. Same thing as Kluber. You're just going to hope that he could give you half of what he was before his injuries. And then 4, I'm assuming they're going to go Montgomery. And then 5, Devi. And then, listen, your 6th man in the rotation would be Herman. Now they got a little bit more depth now that you add Taillon. It doesn't really lead you to count on Herman as your number 2, like Cashman called him a couple weeks ago. And also, let's not forget Sevy. Sevy comes back this summer. I'm assuming probably like July, August. So then once that happens, I mean, you're able to transition either Devi or Montgomery into the bullpen once the postseason comes around. And I think that's huge for the Yankees because we know that their bullpen, it's kind of shaky right now. They could definitely use some depth in the bullpen. So moving into the playoffs, if they have the ability to move one of those starters to the bullpen, even Severino, because I think when Severino comes back, they're not going to want to push his length too far, right? So I could definitely see them putting him in the bullpen for this postseason. Severino has experience in the bullpen. He was pretty good in the bullpen. I believe it was 2016. So listen, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if that happens. Yajure was the only guy in the trade that could have made an impact on the Yankees next season. Yes. And like I said before, I think while Yajure did have the potential to make an impact on the Yankees next season, I think the potential that Taillon can provide is much greater. Like, it's on a different level. If you have Jameson Taillon pitching at the same level he did, in what year was it? In 2018, when he went 14-10 with a 3-2, 179 strikeouts in 191 innings. That's a solidified number 2, and that's just assuming that Corey Kluber's not going to pitch that well. So if you have Cole, Kluber, Taillon, That's a solid 3 going into a postseason series. This is something that we haven't seen the Yankees have in a very long time. A very long time. Going into this postseason, we knew it was Cole, question mark, Tanaka. And then question mark after that, right? So now, yes, and Sevy too. So I'm assuming that Sevy's going to be in the bullpen for next postseason. But let's just say he's a starter, and then they like piggyback him, throw Sevy out there for like 4 innings, and then throw in Devi. I mean, we're talking about a rotation that has the potential to be very good now. Very good. I'm excited. Let's see. Hill will be great if he makes the MLB roster. Yes. I know a lot of people are high on Luis Hill. Honestly, I don't really look into prospects that deep, so I'm not going to give my take on him. But from what I've seen, I think that he's going to be a great pitcher for sure. What position did Contreras play? Chad, if anybody knows that, let me know, because I'm not too sure. I want to say like an infielder, maybe an outfielder, maybe a utility guy. I don't know. You guys know better than I do. Garrett Cole can help Taillon reach his potential. Yes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Cole and Taillon were teammates in Pittsburgh? Yes. No, they definitely were, because Cole was traded to Houston in 2018, and Taillon was with the Pirates since 2016. So, yeah, they were former teammates with the Pirates. Another awesome thing for them. Did you guys ever figure out who those Jones guys were? Bro, I believe you're Johnny. Johnny, I don't know what happened last night. I don't know why the chat was so toxic. I don't know who those dudes were. I'm assuming that they're just like some people from our like personal life who just wanted to like bother the hell out of us. But yeah, I wish I could tell you who they were. Sevy's probably gonna be a solid 3-4. Yeah. So true. Plus we've got a few young arms. Yeah. Listen, the Yankees. It's not like they gutted the farm system for this deal. Like I said it once. I'll say it again. Like they didn't give up much. Like you could even go as far as calling this a steal. I think Brian Cashman really got a steal. And we know, like, Cashman's famous for this. Like, we'll hear rumors all offseason where he's interested in Castillo. He's interested in Hendricks. And I'm kind of disappointed that, like, Hendricks and Castillo might not happen now, but I am happy about Taillon. But we hear rumors all offseason, and then all of a sudden, bang, pulls the trigger, and then we're like, wow, we kind of got a steal, right? Cole 1, Kluber 2, Sevy 3, Taillon 4, Devi 5. Damn, that's a really good rotation when you're thinking about it. And that's not even including a guy like Clark Schmidt, who now he has the entire season to work himself in AAA. There's no rush. There's no rush for Clark Schmidt right now. We saw last season, like, the Yankees were in desperate need of him. That's why when they called him up, you could just tell the dude wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for Major League competition, and it showed heavily. So now, listen, next season, Clark Schmidt, keep an eye out for him, because there's no pressure on the kid's shoulders. He could go to AAA, do what he's got to do, and just work. You could have gave those prospects for Luis Castillo. No, you couldn't have, Anthony. You couldn't have. There's no way in hell that the Reds would have accepted a deal for Castillo revolved around Miguel Yajure, especially since like talks for them were revolved around Gleyber Torres. It's just not happening. It wasn't happening. As much as I love Luis Castillo and I think he would have been a perfect fit for the Yankees, you're not getting him for Miguel Yajure and Rowan C. Contreras and Kenneth Smith and whoever Escoto is. It's just not happening. The two guys outside of Bauer I wanted the Yankees to sign, they got. I'm ecstatic right now. I never thought Hendricks or Castillo were realistic, so I didn't get my hopes up for them. Yeah. No, I agree. I thought Kyle Hendricks was a little bit more realistic than Luis Castillo. But regardless, I'm in the same boat as you, bro. I wanted Corey Kluber. I wanted Jameson Taillon. I also kind of like wanted... I wanted... What's his name? Taillon further along in the offseason. So once Musgrove went elsewhere... once Lindor went elsewhere, once Carrasco went elsewhere, then I was like, all right, I'll settle for Taillon, but he's still a good pitcher who has high potential. You know what I mean? Sins would have not accepted those prospects for Castillo unless they wanted a 10-for-1 trade. Yeah, listen, I think it's a ludicrous idea to say that like the Reds would have taken that deal for Castillo. There's just no way it's happening. I think Kluber is going to be a beast. I think we might see him in the pen once the playoffs hit. I disagree there. I think, like I said, if there's anybody who was going to be in the bullpen once the playoff comes, it's going to be Sevy. only because he's going to be coming back from his injury, and the Yankees aren't going to want to push him too hard, especially since we didn't see him pitch basically all of 2019, and then at all in 2020. The Yankees definitely aren't going to be pushing his innings, for sure. So if you throw him in the bullpen where he already has somewhat of experience, I think it would make a lot more sense than throwing like a Corey Kluber in the bullpen, Unless it's like a Game 7 situation, The New York Reclamation projects. Look, I understand why people could kind of be upset as to why the Yankees keep going for reclamation projects, right? Corey Kluber, now Jameson Taillon. But what a lot of people need to remember is, like, while they are technically reclamation projects, they're pitchers with very high upside and very low risk. So Corey Kluber, you sign him for 1 year, $11 million. The risk there is so much lower than signing like Trevor Bauer for 8 years, $300 million, just like Cole. You know what I mean? So listen, I think it's a great deal. Look at what the Astros did. Justin Verlander was a reclamation project when they signed him, traded for him, and look at how that turned out for him. Absolutely awesome. So listen, reclamation projects can be a good thing sometimes. Also, chat, I got this new chair. I don't know if you guys remember what my old chair was like, but it was like so much smaller and there was like no padding. This one's so comfortable. I'm chilling right now. Even though it is 1 o'clock on a Sunday. It's all right. Hendricks is not impossible. They can still absorb his salary. Yeah. It's possible. I just think it's a lot less possible than it was 24 hours ago. I can't believe some people thought that you could get Castillo for Florial, Abreu, and maybe Andujar. To get impactful players, you have to give up impactful prospects. Yes, Johnny, 100%, bro, 100%. What is the Yankees' next move right now? Listen, I don't know. My assumption was that their next move was going to be a starting pitcher, right? And obviously, Jameson Taillon was that guy. So now maybe they look for some bullpen help. Maybe a guy like Trevor Rosenthal. Yeah, they still need to clear one more 40-man spot. I don't know where that's going to come from, but I do think maybe a guy like Trevor Rosenthal is a realistic option. Maybe they just go with like Nick Nelson, Brooks Kriske in the bullpen. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe Brett Gardner too. Did you see that fight last night? CJ, yes. We did watch the fight last night, and I'm going to be honest with you. We were watching it, all pulling for McGregor, right? When I thought he had it in the first round. And then the second round comes around, and then the dude just gets knocked out. We're all, like, sitting around the couch like this. Absolutely speechless. I know I couldn't have been the only one that was speechless last night. Like, I thought McGregor had that fight in the bag. I think he just got too nice. I think having kids kind of, like, changed him a little bit. I think he's, like, more mature, and he just doesn't have, like, that same fire. I don't know. But I still love Conor McGregor. I think he's awesome. I think he's an inspiration for sure. Do you think auto trade might happen? I think it's possible for sure. Especially since the Yankees have a roster spot to clear, and they might want to relieve some salary. But then again, Otto could be a great reliever for the Yankees next season. Like, he could solve their bullpen issues if he just returns to form, returns to his 2019 form. If Otto returns to that 2019 form next season, that might be the biggest X factor for the Yankees. That and health in the lineup. And rotation in that fact, because we're looking at a rotation of guys who have a history of not being healthy. So we're just assuming Kluber and Taillon are going to be healthy. Let's hope they're going to be healthy for the whole season, because it means everything. It means everything right now. If Stan can give us half of what he gave in the playoffs and stay healthy, I think we're going to be the team to beat in the American League. Yes, I agree. Vinny, for sure. Who is this guy, Jameson? Jameson Taillon is a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Well, now for the New York Yankees. They just traded him for Miguel Yajure and a few other prospects. Rosenthal and LaStella would be my dream. Yes. I think Rosenthal's an awesome option. And Tommy LaStella, I think he's the perfect Tyler Wade replacement. If you want to trade Tyler Wade in a deal with like Adam Ottavino and relieve some salary and then bring on Tommy LaStella and Rosenthal, I think that might be an ideal scenario there. Excuse my frustration. I'm just fed up already. Listen, would you guys rather the Yankees do nothing and go in like the season with Domingo Germán as your fifth man or fourth man in the rotation? I'd much rather have Taillon over Germán. I don't know about you guys, but any day. He's a true Yankee. I want one more year of Gardy. Listen, everyone has a right to their own opinion. I don't want Brett Gardner back. You guys know that. I don't like Brett Gardner. I think his time is up with the Yankees. And it's as simple as that. Is Taillon good? Yeah, when healthy, he's pretty damn good. He's coming off his second Tommy John surgery and has an injury history, so I mean, that's another question mark. Listen, I'm not saying Jameson Taillon was the perfect acquisition, right? But he's better than what we currently had. For sure. Because, bro, like I keep saying, we're looking at the potential here. We're not looking at, like, injury history. We're looking towards the future with him. And obviously the Yankees could have gone out and signed Trevor Bauer. But would it have been the smarter decision? No. Simple answer, no. I'm sorry. I don't think signing Trevor Bauer would have been smarter than trading for Jameson Taillon. Especially the package they got him for. Ridiculous. I'm so hyped right now. Shout out to the chat. Okay, we thought about the Yankees offseason was so bad about 2 weeks ago, and today I think they're having one of the best offseasons with all the teams up there with Padres and Mets right now. Yes. Listen, I know a lot of people don't disagree with me here, but I think the Yankees are having a quality offseason right now. Obviously, we went to the offseason knowing that they had to improve the rotation, and they've done that so far. They've gotten Kluber, they've gotten Taillon. I would say the rotation's kind of set right now. Now, if they can acquire a reliever and maybe a lefty bat for the bench, I think this might be one of the best off seasons we've seen for the Yankees in a very long time. A very long time. We're not going to make the playoffs the way the Yankees are going right now? Anthony, you can't sit here and tell me that the Yankees aren't going to make the playoffs. This is a team right now on paper. I think they're probably the best team in the American League. Without a doubt. Best team in the American League. I'd have to say so. I would rather they stop being cheap. They're worth almost $6 billion. It's not about being cheap. It's about being smart. And I'm no Yankee sympathizer. I knock on them all the time for bad decisions and whatnot. But I think it's very tough to knock this deal. I can't find a way to knock this deal. Guys, we can't just do nothing if we can't get Castillo or Hendricks. Exactly. Now, obviously, the reason they got Taillon was because the asking price for Castillo and the asking price for Hendricks was way too much. Like, do you guys know what I mean? I would much rather Jameson Taillon over what the current options were. Like, without a doubt. Herman is overrated. Look at the advanced numbers on Baseball Savant. Yes. Domingo Herman is a perfect example of, like, the Yankees just scoring 15 runs every time he was on the mound. I don't think he's a very good pitcher. He didn't pitch at all in 2020. He's a domestic abuser. You don't really know what you're going to get out of this dude. I think it would be foolish to rely on him going into the 2021 season. And the Yankees are smart for adding on starting pitching depth, so you don't have to rely on him. Listen, if Domingo Herman wants to come out and be a great pitcher, sure. Like, great. All good for the Yankees. But you can't rely on him doing that going into the season, right? Yankees should have gotten Colin Moran, but Musgrove would have been the better option. I agree, Will. I agree that Joe Musgrove would have been the better option over Taillon. But the issue is Musgrove isn't available right now. He was traded to the Padres. So it's like, I would much rather Taillon than nothing. Hindsight's always 20/20. But what are you going to do? I saw that Yankees could be a landing spot for Puig as of yesterday. I saw that too. We've been seeing that for a couple weeks. I don't think it's a viable option. I don't really see Puig coming to the Yankees at all. They don't really have a need for him, and I don't think they would want to deal with like his personality in the clubhouse. But that's just me. I could be so wrong, and they could sign Puig to like a 15-year deal tomorrow. I don't know. Cole, Kluber, Taillon, 677 Ks in 2018 combined. Yeah. Now, obviously, you'll have the pessimists saying, oh, but that's 2018. Like, oh, they're all injured now. They suck. You still have to count on them being half of that. Right? Even if they are half of that, that's still better than what the Yankees currently got. Like, let's be positive, chat. Positiveness. Let's be hashtag be positive. Let's go. Come on. Thank God we didn't give up our good young talent, but how you describe him, he's still a question mark. He's definitely a question mark. For sure. I would put him in the same class as Corey Kluber, but I'm still very high on him, and I think Jameson Taillon is going to be a good Yankee. This might bite me in the ass, but I think he's a solid fit, for sure. Cashman can still get a Kyle Freeland or Kyle Hendricks or Castillo. Obviously, he still can. I just think, obviously, with this trade, like the likelihood is much more diminished, you know? Yankees, White Sox, and Toronto are the only title contenders in the AL. Sure, you could throw a team like the Rays in there if their young starting pitching come up and perform well, like they expect them to. Even the Astros, too. The Astros will be in the mix, the Athletics. But I do think the Yankees, White Sox are 1A, 1B at this point. I would put the Blue Jays number 2, and then you have like the rest of the pack underneath them. Let's see. Dude, these people don't understand baseball. Everyone has their own opinion, you know? We need 1 to 2 pen arms. I agree, my man, for sure. Herman should be in the pen. Now, that's an option for the postseason, too. I know I said Severino in the bullpen for the postseason, but I do think that Domingo Germán could be a solid option in the postseason as well. These are guys that could give you length and can give you stuff out of the bullpen. Solid options. Now, but let me go back to what I was saying before. This is why it's so important to have starting pitching depth. Because when you go into a postseason, you only need like 3 or 4 starters. So if you can have 6 starters, you throw 2 of them in the bullpen. Or you piggyback them in games. Beautiful stuff. I'm thrilled. Like, I don't care what a lot of you guys have to say negatively in the chat. I think this is an awesome deal. I know a lot of people can agree with me too. There's nothing wrong about this deal. Obviously, there was other guys out there that were better than Taillon. Yes, but the Yankees didn't get them. Obviously, the asking price was too high. So now that we have Jameson Taillon, I'm going to support the dude because I think he's a very good pitcher and can bring a lot of good stuff to the Bronx. Where does Taillon fit in the rotation? Kluber 2, Taillon 3. I'm assuming that's how it's going to go. Yeah, Kluber 2, Taillon 3. Then you can do like Montgomery 4, Devi 5. I'm assuming. And that's before Sevy comes back, obviously. Also, going from the National League to the American League can make a big difference for a reclamation project like Taillon. Sure, that's a fair argument, I guess. Could the Yankees get Germán Marquez from Colorado? Listen, that's the same answer I'm going to give you as I'm going to give for the Luis Castillo and Kyle Hendrick options. While it is possible, it's a very small possibility. And since the Yankees did get Jameson Taillon, I think the likelihood is even more smaller, right? I honestly love this deal. Hated giving Kluber $11 million. I would rather Cole, Sevy, Tanaka, Taillon. Listen, it's fair. I'm not going to bash anybody for saying they wanted Tanaka over Kluber. It's fair. But I think Kluber's going to be a good fit with the Yankees. Just give him a shot. Pat, I just found you love the show. Let's go, Yanks. Yo, shout out, Vinny. Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. We had Andy Pettit, Roger, and Mussina. Would have to have those days. I don't know. Yeah, but now we're talking like 20 years in the past, right? Like, I don't know. Let's see. Patrick's opinions minus Guard equals my opinions. Listen, that's fair. It's fair. Not everyone has to hate Brett Gardner as much as I do. And I don't even hate the dude. Let's not get myself like misconstrued here. I don't hate Brett Gardner as a person. I just think his time with the Yankees is up. Same way I had the opinion on Didi Gregorius last year. I just thought Didi's time in the Bronx was up. Like, no ill will towards the dude. But I think that it's time to move on. Like, it's like ending a toxic relationship. For those of you who were in the chat last night, you know all about that. Taillon's ceiling should be pretty high this year. He may average, but in the future, getting stronger from TG, he could be big. Yes, Tommy. I think that's what the Yankees are doing here. This is definitely a move for the future. Definitely a move for the future. Going from small market Pittsburgh to New York could affect a young pitcher who's struggling to make it back. Sure. Guys, I get it. There's a lot of things with Taillon and even with Kluber that are suspicious. Like what do you want me to say? Like, obviously there's things. You could say the same with any pitcher. You could say the same thing if the Yankees signed Trevor Bauer, right? You could be like, oh, this was only his first amazing year. Like, he's not that good. Like, whatever. He might not be able to handle New York. He's too crazy. He has too many antics. You could say the same arguments for every pitcher. I still think Jameson Taillon's a good acquisition. All right. Pitching depth is important because in the postseason they overused Chagrin in the pen. Yes, you even overused Aroldis Chapman in the pen, right? Yeah, you had him pitching in the 7th inning of Game 5 of the ALDS. You don't want your closer in the 7th inning. I think Schmidt plus Herman plus Andujar can get you Hader. Listen, if that gets you Hader, I'd make that deal in 5 seconds. Also, the Unhinged chat is popping right now. I literally have like 200 unread messages from the boys. I think they seem pretty ecstatic. If you guys want their take, I think they're pretty ecstatic about the deal. Agree, Patrick. Time for Brett to go? Sure. Yeah. Leah, your stepsis, right? Yes. Yeah, she's my stepsister. Yeah. National to American League crossover is crap these days. They play a lot of interleague games. Well, they only played a lot last year because the whole COVID thing. I'm assuming they're not going to be doing the same thing this year. But yeah, no, they're definitely playing a lot more interleague games of a recent than they did. I'm assuming when you were younger, and they only played like a few interleague games a year. Because I heard that, like, obviously I don't know this firsthand, but back in the day, like, interleague games were rare as hell. Like, the only times like you would see the other league was the All-Star game and the World Series. Other than that, it was just like American League, National League, two totally separate branches. Do you think the Yankees have a chance at Marco from Seattle? Not necessarily. I don't think they're really interested either. I think if there were two pitchers that the Yankees would still be interested in, it would have to be like rotation changing guys. So probably like a Hendricks or a Castillo. Those are the only two I would probably see. When Sevy comes back, Monty or Devi goes to the pen, whichever is doing worse, probably. And I would assume that would be Devi, probably, because I think his stuff would play better out of the bullpen. What do you think our chances on Hader are? Probably very small. Only because I haven't really heard any Hader rumors at all this offseason. So I don't know if they're like low-key shopping him or just not shopping him at all. Because it could go either one. I don't know. This chat is not as bad as last night's. I agree. Yeah, this chat definitely isn't as bad as last night's. I know we mentioned this a few times. Last night's chat was crazy. Last night's stream was crazy. If you guys missed it, you missed a legendary stream. I don't even know how to explain it. Did you go to Home Depot and get any new sinks? I don't know what that was even all about. Like that was such like an unfunny joke that just continued for like 2 hours last night. It made no sense. Yes, I agree with Gardner Tom. I feel like he was holding Frazier back. Yes. And now that Clint Frazier proved himself on the Yankees, I think that he needs to be starting every single game. And if you bring back Brett Gardner, it kind of makes me nervous that maybe Brett Gardner's going to be starting like on opening day. Like if he starts on opening day over Clint Frazier, I might cry myself to sleep. No joke. I'll cry myself to sleep. You guys, like, I'll go on stream and like you guys can watch me cry myself to sleep. My bed's right there. Cry myself to sleep. We were all saying there are only a couple of top teams in the AL, but there's still big free agents out there, and a middle team can get them and automatically be a threat. Yes, the Blue Jays are one of those teams. I would say the AL is still wide open. And the Blue Jays, listen, I saw the rumor that they were interested in doing like a blockbuster for Hendricks and Bryant. That would put the Blue Jays up at the top of the Yankees and White Sox. 100%. And then that would be a deal. If the Blue Jays get Hendricks and Bryant, that's huge. Huge. Should have let Brett go in 2019. Talkman is the perfect fourth outfielder, would stand as an emergency option. Yes. If you sign back Brett Gardner, it messes up Mike Talkman heavily. Mike Talkman, I still have faith in him. I still think that he needs to grow as a player. I'm not giving up on him after one bad season. We saw he was capable in 2019. It's fair if somebody wants to say he was a fluke, right? But I still think that they should have faith in him moving forward. And if you bring back Brett Gardner, it just totally diminishes his entire career. You know what I mean? Unless you plan on trading him. Bro, everyone with the dark jokes last night, yeah, CJ, I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you what was going on. Have a feeling Matt Blake and Cole will help Taillon. Oh, for sure. For sure. Where's Tommy Kahnle? He signed with the Dodgers. He's not going to pitch this season, though. He'll be back 2022, I think. Pretty sure. Because he signed a 2-year deal with them, so he'll be with the Dodgers. Not this season coming up, but the following. Taillon has to be better than home run Happ. Bro, that's what I'm saying. Would you guys have preferred J Happ? I mean, looking at the market, right? J Happ got $8 million. Corey Kluber got 11. Who has more potential for the Yankees? Who has higher upside? If anybody in the chat's going to tell me J Happ has higher upside than Corey Kluber, just get out. I'm asking you to leave if you think J Happ is better than Corey Kluber. Oh, God. Okay. Get me Clint at left field, Dominguez at center field, and Judge in right field. It's a stacked outfield. I still think Dominguez is like 3 to 4 years away. listen, unless you're talking future, I don't think you're talking next season because there's no way Dominguez is going to start in Major League Baseball next season. If Kluber and Taillon are average, the Yankees are a god squad, but their weakness is already lineup. Imagine facing Fairbanks, Castillo, Anderson from Rays, 7th, 8th in the playoffs down a run. Yeah, no, I agree. I've been saying this too. I thought Michael Brantley would have been the perfect fit. Obviously, they missed out on him. They don't really have room for him, so it makes sense. But if I hear we are interested in Marquez, Walker, Hendricks, then all I have to say is let's go. Hashtag let's go in the chat. The Twitch people know that. Twitch people know that. Kluber has the upside. He does, for sure. For sure. I agree. I'm talking about 3 years from now. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense then. I think 3 years from now, Dominguez will be a solid option for center field. Who knows where Hicks is going to be? Listen, even if Hicks is performing well, I think they'll probably just trade him. If Dominguez is on a fast track to the majors and he's like lighting up the minor leagues, I could definitely see them ditching Hicks for Dominguez. Kluber's replacing Tanaka at the 2. Taillon's replacing Happ at the 3. Yes. And anybody who's complaining about that is absolutely crazy. I mean, we're replacing Kluber with Tanaka, which isn't that much of an upgrade, but I'd say it's a little bit of an upgrade, right? And then Taillon replacing Happ at the 3, that's huge. That's huge. Why would Jason have to wait till 21? Young guys on Atlantic came up at 18. He doesn't have to wait until he's 21. But considering he hasn't played a professional game of baseball yet, and he's 17 years old, I'm assuming it's going to take him a couple years to come to the majors. Obviously, it's possible they call him up in 2 years, 1 year even. But he doesn't have to wait until he's 21. It's possible. I don't see it happening for a few years. We should all spam Cashman's Twitter. Tell him to go get Hendricks. Does Cashman even have Twitter? If Cashman has Twitter, I'll DM him and be like, yo, Cash, we want Hendricks. Hicks' contract is very tradable. Good center fielders don't grow on trees. Yeah, you're right, Jay. You're right. I think that I think that Hicks' contract is very tradable. Very tradable. If we have half of the Cy Young Kluber, I'll be happy with that. Yes, I agree. Hicks has injuries every year, so we can have Florial, Talkman sub in and get some reps. Yes. For sure. Cashman does with Derek. Cashman watches Derek's videos? I know that. Actually, maybe Derek told me that once. Maybe he told me that one. Derek's an awesome guy, by the way. Shout out Derek. Derek actually told me he wanted to do a podcast once the Yankees got Taillon. So I should probably hit him up about that because he probably wants to record something. But yeah, it's sad to even think about, but it's true. What is? Oh, that Hicks has injuries every year, so we can have Florial / Talkman sub in and get some reps. Yeah, and I think that would be the only reason the Yankees would bring back Gardner, to be honest. If they're concerned about Hicks's yearly injuries, even Judge too, because then you would just move Clint to right and put Gardner back in left. That might be their reasoning if they want to bring back Brett Gardner. Yeah, Shane Green. Shane Green is an awesome option for the bullpen. I think he would be solid. Probably wouldn't cost too much too. Derek has great content and quality. Yeah, Derek's an awesome dude. I love his content. It's literally like professional skilled. No joke. Like if you guys want to check out like another Yankees podcast, live show, whatever. I think he does live shows sometimes. NYY recaps on YouTube. Awesome guy. Tanaka was a proven big game pitcher. He had one or two so-so starts in the playoffs. Yeah, but Tanaka, he was a proven big game pitcher. But so was Corey Kluber. Like obviously both of them had their clunkers here and there, but I still think you can go on the record of saying they're both big game pitchers, you know? I actually have a meeting, guys, at 1:30. So I think I'm going to have to wrap up the live stream 40 minutes in. I got things falling everywhere. But bottom line. I hate to end the stream with so many viewers, but for those of you who maybe it's your first time joining the stream, I go live sometimes with the team. We go live about every day around 9 p.m. Eastern time. Obviously, if there's breaking news like this, we'll go live like a little bit earlier. But yeah, stay tuned for all of our content. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube if you're watching on there. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to like, follow on there. Do what you got to do. But bottom line, Jameson Taillon's a Yankee. Appreciate all you guys. Appreciate everyone for joining. Hope to see you guys again on the next stream. Maybe we'll be live later tonight. I guess we'll see. But if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Also, I'll definitely be live on Twitch twitch.tv/Unhinged New York. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.